Afternoon, YouTube. Now I've literally just taken delivery of this box. Literally like 2 minutes ago this has just turned up. Now I've done it straight away to open it because I really want to see what condition this one's in. Because as you can see, the side of the box there is really split open. So this one does look like it's been bashed about in the post. And I really hope this one's alright. So it's a little Kenwood from 1970. So it's a right old one, this. And on the pictures on the computer, it looked in fantastic condition, this little Kenwood. That is why I went after it, because it just looked in so good condition. It looked like a right mint little receiver. So it will be a bit gutting if it turns out that this one has got damaged in the post, because when they're that good, it really is a shame when they get damaged. So you can see there by the box, the way that side is split open and the other side is split open the same, this box has took a right impact. So I do think this box has been dropped on its head. So I do hope the little Kenwood is alright. It does look like it's had a nice thick wrapping of bubble wrap in there. So you never know, this could be alright in there. Hey little Kenwood, I hope you're alright, mate. So let's open it up and see what I'm dealing with, see if there is any damage or not. I did do the thing before I put this box on the table. I did tilt it about in my hands just to see if I could hear anything rattling inside. But I didn't. I couldn't hear nothing moving about. It didn't feel like it had broken glass in there or anything like that. So far so good. It's looking alright, the little Kenwood. So what's that there? I've got a little note in it. What's that say? Oh, it just says, thanks for your custom. Hope you enjoy the trio. Yes, and I will enjoy it as long as it's not smashed to pieces. No, it doesn't look like it is actually. It looks like he's survived alright. Let's get that battered old box out of the way. It has been put in a lot of bubble wrap, this, so that's lucky. I think if it weren't in so much bubble wrap, this one would have got damaged. It still might have some little niggles on the wooden cabinet, because the wooden cabinet on this Kenwood really did look in mint condition, so any little chips and that on the corners will be a shame. Now it has been put in a lot of bubble wrap. It's got about 4 or 5 layers on it. Well, the back looks good anyway. So let's hope the front has survived as well as the back, because that looks lovely, the back of this little Kenwood. I keep calling it a Kenwood, but it's not really. This is a trio model KR-2120. I think that's right. So it is a Kenwood really, because Trio is Kenwood basically. It's the same company. And a lot of the Trio stuff, you can also buy the same amplifier with Kenwood wrote on it. So you find that a lot. It's exactly the same company because it is. So the receivers are exactly the same, but one is badged up as a Trio and the other one is badged up as a Kenwood. And look at the front of it. It has survived its ordeal in the post, and look how good that looks. I'm liking my new Kenwood. You see what I was saying? This one looked mint in the pictures, and now it is here. It is pretty mint, this one, and it's all complete. Look at it. That is lovely. Oh, and I'm glad she didn't get damaged in the post, because it is gutting when you see them all lovely and that for sale on the internet, and then when they turn up they are just battered, either because the postman done it or the seller couldn't be bothered to wrap them properly. And I really hate that, so I'm really glad that this one has turned up as good as it looked in the photos. And it does. That wooden cabinet looks lovely. And it also looks nice and clean inside as well, this one. Yeah, this looks good, this Kenwood. And for those of you with the eagle eyes, did you see anything good on the back of this Kenwood? Because it's got something else that I like about it, this Kenwood. It's got something else that made me want to buy this Kenwood. And that is, it has got pre-out main in. So when I first found this one on the computer, I was looking at it just thinking, God, that's in really good condition, that little Kenwood. And then when I looked at the picture on the back and see that pre-out main in, I thought, right, I'm going after that. That looks really good, that Kenwood. And now it is here. It's better than I thought. So that tuning wheel on it, that feels good. Selector, that feels nice, feels like it's working. So have a little feel of the buttons. Yeah, the buttons feel alright. They're all locking in good. Yeah, they feel like they're working alright, them buttons. So look at the volume. Yeah, it feels nice. Treble. Oh, and that's a clicky treble, so that goes up in the little notches. Does the bass do the same? Yeah, the bass does as well. That goes up in little notches. Balance. No, it has got the little lock to centre it, but it does not go up in the notches. And the power button. Yeah, that feels alright, the on-off switch. So all the pots and the buttons on this, they do feel quite nice. They don't feel grindy or stiff or anything like that. They all feel good. So I'm really liking my new little trio. It's better than I thought it was going to be, because it is much bigger than I thought it was going to be, because this is only 10 watts per channel, so it's only a low powered one. So I didn't think it was going to be as big as what it is, but it is quite a big lump, this Kenwood, and it's quite heavy as well. For a little 10 watt receiver, it's got a lot of weight to it, this Kenwood. So I've just put the camera onto the tripod and I've turned it round, and I'll get you in and show you the back. And there, look, that is one of the reasons I went after this Kenwood. Pre-out, main in. And I think that's quite rare, this little receiver having that preamp, because although you see that quite a lot on more powerful receivers and receivers that are a lot more high end, you really don't see it much on little 10 watt receivers, or not on ones that I've had my hands on. And over the years I've had a lot of these little low powered receivers because I really like them, and I've only ever had a few with the pre-out main in on them. I've had it more with the little low powered amplifiers. Fair few of them have the pre-out main in, but not many low powered receivers have it. So it's got two phono inputs, auxiliary, and then you've got your one tape with the phono and a 5-pin DIN tape connector, bits for the aerial, and then this one will take 2 sets of speakers. And there it's got one little outlet socket on it, and the fuse is on the back as well. And there is your little voltage changer. That's just a switch on this one. And it does look really good condition, the back of this Kenwood, and that cabinet. Just look at that cabinet. That cabinet is in fantastic condition. So I think I got a bit of a bargain here, as long as I can get it working, because I really haven't paid much for this little Kenwood. So it was on the computer as non-working, sold as seen, and it doesn't power up or do anything. It's another one. When you plug it in, it doesn't do anything at all. So I've bought this one really just because of how good it looked, and because of that pre-out main in. And I'm going to try and track down a few more with that pre-out main in, because I love playing around with that on these old amplifiers and receivers. because you can plug the preamp of one amp or receiver into the power amp of another amp or receiver, and then you can change it about, do it the other way. And you might find with something like this Kenwood, it's only 10 watts per channel, so you'll be able to plug this one into like a 50 watt per channel power amp from another receiver or amplifier, and then use this little Kenwood as a preamp. And you might find with this little Kenwood, because it is so low powered, you might find this has got a really good preamp on it. Or you might find out the other thing, which is the little 10 watt amplifier in this Kenwood might be a really good amplifier. So if you put the preamp off of something else into this Kenwood, you might find you get a really good sound out of this little 10 watt trio. So I love the ones with the pre-out main in, because you can just play around with them. I love doing that. So I'm going to try and get my hands on a few more with the pre-out main in. I will even get some power amps, a bit more modern power amp, because you do find like something like this Kenwood, if you put this into like a 10-year-old decent power amp, 100 watt or something like that, you might find that this little Kenwood sounds fantastic in that situation, and it'll be good to do a lot of that on the channel. So I'm going to try and get a few power amps and get a few more amps and receivers with the pre-out main in. So let's see how big the little Kenwood is now. I've got my tape measure out. So it is 17 inches wide. So it is quite big, this Kenwood. Like I said, it's bigger than I thought it was going to be. I didn't think it'd be this big. So that's like 12.5 inches deep, and that's quite deep for a little receiver, and the height of it. So that's about 5.5 inches high. So for a 10 watt receiver, that is a big receiver, that one. Most of the little 10 watt ones are only small, but this Kenwood's like full size. And I'll show you a bit more how big it is, because I reckon it's about the same size as this Pioneer. This is a Pioneer SX434, which is not a small receiver. It's a fair size, this Pioneer, and as you can see there, it is exactly the same width as the Kenwood. The Pioneer's a little bit taller, but they are the same width, and if I line the backs up there, you can see that the Kenwood is actually a little bit deeper than the Pioneer. So it is a nice size, this Kenwood, quite a big size for a little 10 watt receiver. And I do think that this little trio, once all that face is cleaned up and that's going to come up really good, that faceplate. And when all that's polished up and you get the front lit up on this little trio, so all the face is nice and brightly lit, I do think that this little trio is going to be a really good looking receiver. And the same goes for that other little Kenwood trio that I bought the other day. And that one, it looks very different to this one, but I do think it's going to look good once I get all the face lit up and that on it. So that one is a trio model TK40LT. I have done a video on that one, it's already on the channel, so that's another Kenwood one that I've got lately. So I'm going to have to try and get something else next, because I've bought 2 Kenwoods recently. And I have got in my watch list at the moment, I haven't got that much in there actually, but I have got, there's a Rotel RX250 that's not working, but it looks really in good condition. There's also something a bit more modern. There's a music fidelity amplifier on there that's not working. I quite fancy that. And also there's a Roxanne Candy that I've got in my watch list. So one of them might be the next ones to come to the channel. So thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time.